But let's get into the game. Lions and Packers. Gator?
Doug?
When the Packers have the football, my biggest concern is their run game, specifically Aaron Jones. Do you remember how awful the Carolina game was in the Lions' run defense?
Vaguely. I think there was something like 320 yards rushing for Carolina.
Aaron Jones.
2 100-yard rushers in the first half alone. I vaguely remember that.
First of all, between Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon, they have the ability to have 2 100-yard rushers. But Jones has been really good of late. He's averaged over 6 yards per carry the last 3 games. And I would suspect that as Green Bay looks at Detroit, scouts Detroit, and tries to figure out how to attack Detroit, that's going to be a big part of their game plan. The run game with Aaron Jones. And while their passing game has improved with the development of Christian Watson since the first game, remember, he didn't do much against Detroit. 2 catches, 24 yards. He's got 7 touchdowns this season. All of them have come after the game against the Lions. That tells you how much he has developed along with Aaron Rodgers. Now, there's 2 Aaron Rodgers here. There's the Aaron Rodgers. There's actually 3 Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, boy.
There's Aaron Rodgers that faced Detroit, who threw 3 interceptions in that game. 3. But then there's the Aaron Rodgers against Detroit in Green Bay the last decade. Now, he played 3 series in one game and he got injured in the other, but he's gone 7-1, thrown 17 touchdown passes and just 1 interception. That Aaron Rodgers worries me.
Yeah, but what have you done lately?
Well, by lately, if you mean this win streak, here's something strange. During that win streak, Aaron Rodgers has thrown 6 touchdowns and 4 interceptions.
Mm-hmm.
He's turned it over a little bit.
He's turned it over a lot this year. It's very uncharacteristic of Aaron Rodgers and how he's played this year. And it started with that Lions game when he threw 3 picks. I mean, this is not the Aaron Rodgers we're used to seeing. This is a guy who's thrown 11 interceptions on the season. I mean, you look at his numbers in comparison to Jared Goff's. Jared Goff has completed 26 more passes this year, but it's for like 800 more yards, 750 more yards. Goff has 29 touchdowns and 7 picks. Rodgers has 25 touchdowns and 11 picks. Goff has been better than Aaron Rodgers. Now, their running game, to be sure, can be a 1-2 punch, right?
Yep.
So can the Lions.
Yep.
Lions have a good 1-2 punch with Swift, who looked pretty healthy last week, and we know Jamal Williams. We don't talk about Jamal Williams enough and what he means to this team. He went off last week, had a long run at the end that got him within 6 yards of 1,000 yards on the season. You got to go back a long ways. I think it's 2013 for the last time the Lions had a 1,000-yard rusher with Reggie Bush, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a chance not only he'll definitely get the 1,000 yards, you would think, right?
Yep.
I'm going to knock on wood and make sure he doesn't get hurt. But he's got a chance to get his 16th rushing touchdown that would tie him with Barry Sanders.
That's crazy.
For the Lions' all-time record of touchdowns in a single season. This guy's been unbelievable this year. And last I checked, the last team he played for before the Lions was the Green Bay Packers.
It was the Green Bay Packers.
Packers didn't want him. Couldn't afford him or whatever. They said, we'll let you go. We can do without you. We've got these other 2 guys. Chip on his shoulder. He's going to play tough.
You love the chip on the shoulder.
I do love the chip on the shoulder. And this game means something. And I think these guys, even if it comes down to them not making the playoffs, Dan Campbell has done enough this week to encourage this team and let them know that it still does mean something. I think these players all believe that this game means a lot for them, a lot for respect, a lot to shut up the quarterback on the other side that lamented losing to that team. And the Packers as a team, they've run for less yards per game than the Lions have this year. So have they gotten off a little bit the last couple of weeks? Sure. But by and large, they don't run the ball all that well. And Aaron Rodgers has been turnover prone. The Lions need to play their game, which is the way they've been able to win all these games lately, 7 out of 9. They don't turn the ball over. They don't commit stupid penalties. And they create turnovers. And they get into the offensive backfield of their opposition. They got to do all those things. I mean, they don't have to play flawlessly, but they have to play a really solid game, the same type of game that they've been going with this 7 out of 9 game streak.
So you mentioned a few things there. One is that the Lions play in the opposing team's backfield. When they do, they win. They had 7 sacks against a very mobile, elusive quarterback in Justin Fields. The week prior to that, they played a statue, a parking meter. They not only didn't sack Sam Darnold, they didn't hit him once. It was an odd game.
It was an odd game. Sam Darnold got rid of the ball quickly, and Sam Darnold's not a statue. He actually can run a little bit.
Not like Justin Fields.
Well, not like Justin Fields, no, but he can certainly run. And he took off and ran enough against the Lions to read a bunch of rushing yards.
And I mean, I guess he's kind of like Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers can hurt you with his feet, but he's not a running quarterback. So there's that. But the Packers in this 4-game win streak, Cousins threw 3 picks last week, and Minnesota lost a fumble. Tua threw 3 picks the week before, and Miami lost a fumble. Baker threw a pick against him with the Rams, which is good to see Baker playing under control. We like that. We're in favor of that. And the week before that, Justin Fields threw 2 picks, and the Bears lost a fumble. That's 9 interceptions and 3 fumbles. Wow. They averaged 3 takeaways a game in this 4-game stretch. Now, I'm not going to say anything other than the Lions' quarterback play in that regard has been very good since the first matchup between these two teams. Very good. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, they just have
be careful, Doug.
Well, it's a talking point. Lions have to take care of the football. They have to do what they've done well, which is take care of the football and create turnovers on the defensive side. The other thing the Packers did well against the Vikings, they've got a dangerous return guy. And he returned one for a touchdown last week. And I believe I think he's the most dangerous return guy in the NFC. And the second one is actually Justin Jackson from the Lions. I thought I read that lately. Special teams are going to play a factor. When you're going to play at Lambeau, it seems like special teams always play a factor. Your kicking game has to be strong. Your punting game has to be strong. Don't want to be talking about Monday that, hey, we had a shanker out there. Somebody just missed the ball on a punt. I don't want to hear any of that. Don't want to hear about a muffed punt. Don't want to hear about a roughing the punter penalty. And we certainly don't want to hear about any return touchdowns going against the Lions.
Is this the game where Jameson Williams is a gunner?
Is this the game where Jameson Williams returns a kick?
Well, Khalif Raymond's pretty good at returning.
Yeah, he is, actually.
Here's the other thing that concerns me.
You need it, right?
I mean, kind of. I don't know how important the gunner position is. I feel like we've clearly not valued as much as the head coach does. But, Gator, here's the other thing that concerns me, and that is the Lions' offense at home versus road. Jared Goff at home, 23 touchdowns, 3 picks, a quarterback rating of 109.3. Jared Goff on the road, 6 touchdowns, 4 picks, a quarterback rating of 87.6. Now, the Lions' offense has actually done some things on the road. They haven't been putrid on the road. There's a couple of games they've been putrid, like the Dallas game, the New England game. But they've done enough to win some games on the road. So I don't know if this is an overplayed card. I just would like to see them catch some of that home mojo away from home.
Well, it would be nice. And the last time they played on the road, they got smoked by Carolina. Jared Goff played well in that game. A lot of that was empty stats at the end of the game, but he still threw for 355 yards and 3 touchdowns in the game. So half of his touchdown total on the road came the last time they played, to your point. He's got to be better on the road. There's no question about that. It's everything for the Lions starts with that offensive line. Frank Ragnow feels like he's stronger now. The offensive line seems like they're pretty healthy this week going into the game, which is key. If they can run the football, they control everything. Running the football sets everything up for the Lions in the passing game because Jared Goff is deadly with a play-action game. And if they can run the ball and then you can start running some play action, it could open up some monster plays for that offense. But they've got to get the running game going.
You know, I always bring up the home-away splits with the offense. But for some reason, I'm not really concerned with the offense this week. And I think it's because they're going in with their full complement of players, including Jameson Williams, okay? My concern, and it's a big concern, is the defense. Stopping that run game is one thing, but really my other thing is it's the secondary. And the fact that Jeff Okudah's been benched recently, Deshaun Elliott being healthy and playing this Sunday is a big thing for me because Aaron Rodgers, during this 4-game win streak, he hasn't really been on fire. He's got 4 touchdowns and 2 picks, hasn't thrown for more than 238 yards in any of those 4 games. Now, you mentioned all the takeaways. That's probably a big reason why, Doug. Yep. But we know he's still Aaron freaking Rodgers, and he can light you up at any moment. Christian Watson's come along much better than the last time they played. If this secondary doesn't get it together, and remember, Aubrey Pleasant is on the Packers staff now, okay? If this line secondary doesn't keep it together this Sunday, it could be a long night for them. So that's my biggest concern is the Lions defense, specifically the secondary. I think the run game, although they got gashed by the Panthers and the Packers have two really good running backs, I think with Deshaun Elliott being more of a line of scrimmage safety, and they just got their stuff together. Hey, sometimes like Dan Campbell said, you need to get your ass kicked to realize to shore up some things. I think the run game will be okay. The run defense, that secondary concerns me.
I can't believe you said face kicked in. Let's
face
tone it
kicked in?
down.
No, sorry.
Let's tone it down.